to put so much pressure, I feel like, on Kiaya, because if you cannot get into the back line and kill the Soraka, it is going to be impossible to kill the front line of Rogue as we get into these team fights later and later into the game. I think the top side of GAM has their work cut out for them in this match.
And it's just so aggressive for the bottom side early on, too, with Soraka spamming out and Kalista jumping forward here. See if they can get some Malrang early ganks. This is what I associate with this player above all. Jarvan getting out for some early ganks, and you gotta think those are gonna go towards the bottom side of the map for Rogue.
Yeah, mid-bot side has to be the focus. Getting Viktor's flash early helps the Orianna a lot, especially when the level 6 comes through. You can always get that mid push in. Bit of an even matchup, slightly Orianna favored because of the range, but Viktor has better early trading with the shield, of course. But it's all gonna be mid-bot side for Rogue. And the question is top lane going to play in isolation? We've often seen these Fioras and Camilles play in isolation against the tanks and just the tanks and get an innate solo advantage, and that helps in the side lane.
And then for GAM, keeping your eyes on Levi. With this Graves, you really want to be able to create that big CS gap versus the Jarvan, punish the Jarvan. We're going for a lot of those ganks. See if Levi can get big.
I think a late invade would be a bit crazy from GAM, but it could work. Graves, Varus, Tahm, Kench, really strong level 1, could split the map against the Soraka when you've got an Ornn top side. Could be something that they could think about.
Yeah, definitely, and be able to pin down Malrang, see even where he's starting, even if you can't get off a big summoner spell advantage.
And look, the VCS, no strangers to creative strategies. For now, looks like they're just moving out to their separate parts of the map as we get ready for our first game of the day here. Tough loss for his top yesterday. See if GAM can fire back.
So Odoamne is actually in this bot push. I wonder if Rogue are thinking about this late invade from GAM and they're keeping their top laner hidden just in case.
I think they definitely are, because Soraka also starting with the sweeper here for Trymbi.
Looks like they're trying to get bot brush control. I think they were expecting GAM actually to go bot lane 3 or 4 man level 1, ward that brush just so that they could get vision onto Rogue's bot lane, look for good early trades. Levi's going to walk into this top side jungle. Looks like he might place a ward down. The thing is, you can do a bit of a bait there and not ward, and then they might think they have to sweep it, but Malrang being there knows it's now warded.
Yeah, so nice though just to even know if he's starting on red. The Jarvan, as soon as you get the red buff, looking for those ganks. Control ward though in inventory from Malrang. Started with the potion plus the control ward instead of the refillable, just so he can stay in the fog of war.
Early level 2 for the solo lanes of Rogue after the first wave. Won't be too much to abuse really in these matchups. No early invade from GAM either. Looks like Levi will solo start on the red buff, has the blue smite, swapped over to Sweeper when he placed that ward, but they'll have information on Malrang, and Rogue won't have information on Levi. There's an early ward there in the river on the top right of your screen from GAM as well. I think that's covering any mid ganks from bot side. If Malrang does, you know, red Raptors romp into mid, that'll spot him out.
Malrang, of course, notoriously creative in the early game. He is a player, as we've highlighted pretty much every time we watch him play. He will fall behind. He will give himself up all in the service of the team and of his laner.
And he's skipping Raptors as well. He's going straight down towards the bottom side of the map, over into the blue camps. See how early he actually wants to get down there. As we expected, a lot of this, you know, bottom triangle focused from him. Red, Gromp, blue buff. Try and get that level 3.
And Levi's smartly not going to path bot here because he realizes enemy bot lane will have the push. They're playing Kalista Soraka. It's going to be very hard for me to contest the crab. So just full clear towards top to try to get a crab of his own. Make sure the Graves, like Kobe said, just get ahead in CS as much as possible and then cover the bot plays. His strong side of the map is this top side where the Camille will push the Ornn in and wants to hover towards that side.
No surprise as Rogue continue to push out on the bottom side, building a bit of temporary CS advantages. That wave will crash. Awkward there from Kiaya. Would have liked to have the hook shot, but Trymbi, Comp, leveraging their range advantage well.
Something we can keep track of in that matchup is when, hang on a second, Malrang just EQ'd, so they know it's warded there.
Waiting for the cooldown.
Is going to wait for the EQ. This could be dangerous. Kati might actually die to this gank. Levi is hovering around, covering the push out.
It's so hard now. The red buff there, he's flashing out to safety. Malrang. Flashing in the waiting arms, they're going to burst him down. It's going to be a quick kill, but Levi now going to look to respond with his own flash out from Larssen. The creep's going to body block any further follow-up. The struggle of the Graves. He wants to auto the Ori, but he can't get through the creeps. Levi forced away.
Oh, Malrang strikes again! First blood for Rogue, getting out there early on the Jarvan, slipping past the ward, right into the brush. Couple seconds left on the flag, and he goes right in.
If you think back to the ADC semifinals, Razork did the same thing to Rogue, but instead he flashed over the wall as Poppy, and Razork then ganked mid lane. I wonder if that's something that they thought they could abuse here on the world stage, EQing over, waiting for the cooldown. Now bot lane, very diveable here. They have the heal.
Execution is going to be everything a bit of slow coming in. Comp taking a little bit of damage here. Now the flag, the drag, another one. Comp gets the kill. Oh, and this is brutal. Rogue dominating in the early game.
We talked about mid bot side, and Rogue's already off to an early lead.
Oh, exactly. Rogue playing off of their power points, off of their draft advantages here. Malrang playing to both lanes that he could play off of, gets both of them ahead. And this kill actually going over to Comp 2 is devastating for the Gigabyte Marines bottom lane.
Look at the CS deficit as well, almost double the creep. So we'll see this one again. Malrang almost has his combo off cooldown. Kati flashes, but that's an easy flash EQ from Malrang. Doesn't use the EQ flash because then he doesn't get the damage to land. And Levi flashes forwards to try to kill Larssen, so Larssen can match the flash. Malrang has lethal tempo, so watch his attack speed here when it's fully stacked up. And now he's looking
going
again.
back, rinse and repeat, baby. Rogue are
boy.
not stopping. Trymbi is here too.
Oh boy.
Soraka wants some KP. She's gonna get it. Rogue 3-0 on the board.
Oh, I feel so bad for the Gigabyte Marines after yesterday's crushing game as well. Rogue wastes no time. It's only 4.5 minutes into the game, fellas, and Rogue are already dominating.
And we saw the J4 banned yesterday, not because it's a fantastic champion in the context of the meta, but because Malrang is just so damn effective at impacting the early game whenever he gets this character.
And you look over at the CS gap, and you expect that gap to explode there with the jungle, but it's not going to mean any power advantage because they constantly have lane control for both of them, and Malrang getting experience off the lane minions while he's ganking, plus the actual kills themselves. We've got a quick little intermission here.
Yeah, I think it's a GAM pause there. I can see the referee talking to Levi. Maybe he got something wrong with his PC or his setup. Not too happy about it. No game bugs, it looks like, so hopefully we can get that resolved quickly. But you were just talking about the CS. The Jarvan a little bit behind in camps. Still has his whole bot side up there, Malrang, but I think as expected, he will be behind and he'll look for early objectives after getting his laners ahead.
Plus the added fact that we didn't have a recall from Levi either yet. He's been trying to, put out all these fires all over the map, going to pick up CS here and there after Malrang has already laid destruction to the laners.
Yeah, and it's just such a difficult game now because he has been able to get the Orianna ahead. And those scaling matchups, normally we don't expect a lot in terms of kill pressure in the 1v1, but as Orianna gets further and further ahead, it's going to be harder. And of course, on the bottom side, Kalista getting tier 2 boots early means Varus, if he ever walks up to push a wave in, Kalista's just going to walk him down. Well, hop him down, really. She's going to hop him down.
And a lot of credit, really, to Trymbi, again, for bringing back this Soraka pick. It's so much harassment early on. People always just associate the healing with Soraka, but it's actually a really strong bully lane, too. He's whittling down the Varus, constantly poking him out in lane, pushing them under tower, and getting them to that spot where Malrang had a very easy dive.
And Soraka Silence is one of the most obnoxious abilities in the game, because if Jarvan ever EQs in, you basically have to preemptively flash, because if he hits you, the silence is coming down, Tahm Kench is eating nobody.
Well. It fills that Cataclysm so nicely. Yeah. It's very satisfying.
It does. It just makes it so you're basically stuck in there and cannot flash out. I feel like the GAM draft, they've drafted to deny what Rogue can do, but then they've ended up with very few options that Levi can play through, right? You have a Viktor mid you have to cover, that's your first pick. Your Varus, Tahm Kench are then counterpicked bot with a range support and they're being pushed in, and your Camille's into an Ornn, so Levi can focus on top side and get things like the Heralds, but he doesn't have many setup lanes pre-6.
Yeah, and the thing to look for next year for Rogue is to keep this aggressive look, because Viktor without flash, guess what? Orianna's about to get 6. That is an easy shockwave to land. Malrang can come right back on the Jarvan. Anytime the Viktor is out from under the tower, it's so scary for him. So still 50% left on that flash cooldown for the Viktor. Meanwhile, it's going to get even scarier.
And we're back in the game, and I think the other big concern is Trymbi. Normally you don't look at Soraka as a champion who can roam a lot, but Kalista with this kind of lead, pretty much untouchable in lane, especially once the cleanse comes back up. It's only the level 6 for Varus, where Comp is really going to have to start to be concerned about the kill pressure present. Yeah,
the cleanse will help out with that kill pressure, but I'm just noticing on the minimap here, Malrang's actually giving the first blue buff of the game to Larssen. That's not the second one. We're only 5 minutes in. He did the full clear, a little bit of a clear towards bot, then ganked mid again after bot, and now he's given over the blue, and now he's on Dragon, so this is the kind of utility of the Jarvan.
Exactly. Malrang just plays so well for his team, for every laner all the time, spamming ganks, giving over everything that he can. First Dragon as well, going to provide a decent amount of defense after they increase the power of these buffs. Plus you have Soraka here, Trymbi immediately picking up that Dark Seal. It's very easy to get stacks with the ultimate across the map as well.
And this is as expected. Levi will walk into the enemy jungle. He knows they're on Drake. Bot lane's just moved into fog of war and they're not ganking mid because of the push. So the second this Dragon dies, he can move up to Krugs. He can look for something towards top with Kiaya being level 6. I don't know if they have the damage to kill Odoamne, and the red buff is spawning soon, so maybe he wants to hang around here with the crab as well and just get as big of a CS lead as possible.
And for Levi, I feel for him. The lane, he's just doing his best. He's got the winning matchup in the context of jungle, but he's just farming. He's just power farming. He's holding on as he can. GAM Esports really struggling to get anything else done for now. Level 6 is, though, going to be big.
Yeah, and I expect Malrang to keep ping-ponging between mid and bottom lane again. The price he had to pay was the Raptors and the Krugs.
Knock up, Odoamne now stepping forward. Ulti now coming back in. Odo caught out here. Levi on the way back up. Smoke screen going down. Odoamne flashing out to safety. Should be just fine. No, Levi trying to finish the job. They do take him down. Tack sweep to grab the kill.
That's a really big wave that Odoamne is going to lose. A big play there for GAM. I feel like Odoamne just kind of getting a little bit overexcited on the trade, looking for a kill despite being on the weak side of the map.
And I like that attitude here from Levi. He's like, okay, we have to split the map. I cannot fight on the mid and bottom lanes anymore. Have to go towards top side. He's going to take away all the camps from top side for Rogue. Meanwhile, Malrang is going to do the same down here. So we've got that split jungle map once again.
Absolutely something worth highlighting. Of course, the objective on the bottom side already gone. Another Drake, about 4 minutes. Herald about to spawn in 30 seconds, though, so not a bad time to have control of the top side for GAM Esports.
Oh, Levi is going to be really strong on his base. After taking this crab, he saw his top camps respawning. We saw a little bit there. Kati was using his ult there to clear the mid wave up against Larssen. Needs to get a good base off soon. Larssen will match that. 3 minutes, 30 seconds next Dragon. You just highlighted it. Drake goes to Herald. How does Rogue want to navigate around it? Do they just leave Comp bot and look for plates and trade off? Or do they send Trymbi's already going up there, Comp as well, to contest the 5v5?
Yep, we've got support roam timers coming out. Of course, Graves here always with the zombie ward as well. You see Levi there with early lethality. We'll get that Umbral Glaive to help out with the vision control. Pops up one down on that Rift Trail, plus getting the Scuttle Crab. But Malrang goes right over it. The zombie ward that was left behind we'll see.
So I think Kati actually stayed for an extra wave. He has TP. Comp's on the way up after pushing bot. Odo has the top push. And GAM, despite having so much control on this top side, Levi probably has a lot of gold in his pocket, so he needs to take a base. They don't actually have the time to contest this.
Yeah, and you see it's for sure the call has already been made from GAM really early on with the movement from Tahm Kench as he goes back to the bottom lane. There's no way they want to contest that.
Yeah.
Very difficult situation to be in. The fact that they've lost the Dragon as well as the Herald. Individually, you can see pretty decent lead for the Graves, but only amounting to 200 gold because of the kill participation that Malrang has been able to build for himself, although he is quite far ahead in terms of overall experience. See what GAM can do to try to find some more of these plays across the map. Again, Varus level 6 just around the corner, but for now, Comp level 7, gaining so much individual solo XP as Trymbi has been leaving the lane.
Yeah, I think for Rogue, their next play will be to get Kati's flash, so he's stuck on her tower for the rest of the game, and they can look for plays mid. For GAM, it's about just Levi. Wherever Rogue's pressuring, it looks like he wants to go to the opposite side and look to mismatch for camps. They're
2v2.
pressure Larssen here a bit.
Backing off, Malrang in the area. Good burst damage, Malrang going for the combo ball on top. Can they get it? One kill back, that's the combo, the ball delivery system.
And he flashed as well. So Rogue get everything they wanted and more. The kill and the flash off the mid laner. Now they're looking at Levi.
That was beautifully executed by Rogue. The turn from Malrang, the second he landed the knock-up, the ults both landed at the same time, and Kati was on the wrong side of the Cataclysm, get towards his tower, tries to flash away. Now he's lost that flash. They got the kill. Malrang has Herald, and now he's threatening something towards bot side.
Oh, the mid 2v2s just spill into the bottom.
Oh, it's so hard. You devour just in time. The silence not going to amount to a whole lot, but they get that cooldown out of the ult. Crucially, the ult goes wide. They can maybe try to re-dive here. Malrang debating what the option is. They know Graves still going to be very far behind in terms of getting to the bottom side.
This is a 4 TCS lead in bots right now. They've gotten 2 plates by themselves. Larssen has flash. He's in trouble, though. Levi does have flash of his own.
Bottom, moving out. Can't start to walk down to the rest of his team. Tahm Kench on the way up, maybe hoping to punish, but Malrang in the area. Got to stop anything else from happening, and they're grabbing bottom tower at the same time. Massive lead for Rogue.
Yeah, this is the thing. It's too hard for the Marines because Rogue have complete control of 2 lanes right now, so you can just even spill down to the bottom lane. They're going to get the second charge off from the Rift Herald as well. Big chunk of damage into that one, and this is such a big early lead.
Yeah, GAM Esports struggling a little bit now. It's almost a 3k gold deficit. They're going to look forwards. I play on the top side. Levi's hovering around. I don't know if they can dive Odo here. No CC on the Graves. He's just going to run out. Maybe they can get a plate if the Camille has demolished. We'll take away another camp, and Malrang still down on creeps, but quite close in levels and not so far behind in gold now. He's actually picked up a serrated Dirk. Even though he was building full tank, he's gotten himself an extra kill. He thought, you know what, I'll get a little bit more damage in his pockets. Yeah.
This is the picture of indecisiveness. You're like, do I want to do damage? Do I want to support the team? Bomby Cinder plus serrated
I think this is the picture of hubris. You know, I'm having fun. Let's get a little exciting with it. Some more burst damage there. Next EQ plus shockwave combo is going to hurt.
The map state is a real pain for GAM right now because Rogue's actually starting the Dragon while pushing top with their bot lane. So I feel like Rogue maybe blundered a bit here. GAM GAM. Whoa, hang on a second.
Hold that thought. That's a lethal tempo Jarvan with the serrated Dirk, baby. You're gonna have to flash out of there. Malrang flashing to safety as well.
Oh, they're all coming. Look at the bottom lane as well. Kalista, Soraka rotating through mid lane right now. They're gonna try and catch them.
2K. Flash out to safety. Odoamne now ready to stop any further follow-up. They're going to get knocked up as well. They're trying to burn through the Tahm Kench as quickly as they can, but the Dragon has already dropped in favor of the Marines.
Trymbi soloing out Style.
That's the battle, Soraka. That man has had enough potassium. He does not want any more bananas, trust me.
That is big. That is big for GAM, though, to be able to get the Dragon without losing anyone in such a losing state of the map.
It was really awkward by Rogue there because they put their bot lane top, initially pushed out the wave looking for lates, but then Malrang started Dragon, so then they were forced to move down to a fight that didn't exist. Yes, they got a couple of summoners out of the GAM bot lane, but they could have made a decision there to drop the Dragon, look for plates, or committed to the Dragon early. So good pickup there by GAM will slow down this Dragon stacking by Rogue.
Yeah, I think it was a really good job by GAM recognizing the lane allocations there and just knowing you have the timing window, they get it down.
Yep.
And of course, when we look ahead, summoner spells for the bot lane do matter. We're going to have to keep an eye on how the Varus and the Tahm Kench are able to survive the next few minutes as they are moving them up to the top side of the map, because that could be the thing that shifts that play overall back into the favor of Rogue. Pressure to collapse on it, and interestingly, serrated Dirk going for the more conservative team-based lethality option in the Umbral Glaive, which I respect.
I love it because it's such a good snowballing item to be able to black out the map, take away all the vision of your opponents when you're winning like this, and the gank threat of Jarvan to be able to constantly know that there's no vision there, sweeping it out.
So Rogue's bot lane up towards his top side. GAM's gonna match it. Larssen and Malrang trying to hover towards here. Kati will have his flash up soon. 0-3-0 right now on this Viktor. Has been struggling against the Rogue mid jungle, but with this flash coming back up, he can start to contest these mid waves, and maybe they can find a window to start taking out some of this vision that Rogue are clearing out. That one ward helping to catch the rotations.
Yeah, they're just trying to bully them right now. Rogue doing such a good job. You know, look at the item differences. Kalista with the full shield bow done. The mythics are already coming in. We also have the Luden's proc from Larssen here. So if you, and this is flash available for Viktor, so he's got to flash the EQ. If you get hit by that, plus the shockwave, you're just dead.
Herald spawning very, very soon. And I think Rogue will try to secure that, then look for the mid tower. Malrang and Trymbi lying in wait. Don't know if they have the damage to fight this, though. Despite having that Umbral Glaive, I don't think they have the burst to force GAM out there. They could look for a turn with Kati coming across from mid lane. Comp just keeping this top push. Larssen keeping this mid push. Kiaya does have bot push, but no TP, so he needs to be very quick to react if they wanted to contest his Herald.
Yeah, so difficult for the Camille to get involved now, and I think so much pressure again on the Style is like the one really reliable form of hard engage without Camille in the area. Can't afford to miss another ult in the fight to come. GAM really backing off here, though. They know they cannot push into the darkness of the map, partially courtesy due to the Umbral Glaive.
And I think they should just completely forfeit it, not try and fight it at all. Odoamne actually has teleport advantage, and it's unleashed teleport time. We're past the 14 minutes here, so GAM should probably concede this. Camille's not going to be able to get up there in time, plus they're at such an item disadvantage. Just try and lick your wounds, collect the CS at your towers. Don't try and lose anything else.
Yeah, I think you're right there, Kobe. And the problem that GAM have is cross-mapping against Rogue right now, against an Ornn. It's going to take a long time to dive him with Graves and Camille because of his build. So much armor, a lot of health items, quite tanky with the ult, can clear out the wave. So Kiaya is just going to move towards mid instead, and GAM don't really get anything for it, but they do need to defend the Herald play, and the Herald play is probably going to go mid unless they look for a tier 2 here, Rogue. Sweeping out a little bit of vision. I expect Comp to take a base soon and then reset, come out on the map. 1 minute 30 seconds on this Dragon. GAM can get a little bit of bot vision before that spawns. Take away some camps too.
Dragon scaling, obviously always something that GAM could look to play for, as we are one Drake apiece this stage of the game. Still a long way off any soul points, but Hextech good for both of these lineups.
Yeah, I think it's so difficult for them in this sort of scenario for GAM. I think you try and send Camille with some backup to get a pick on somebody. Otherwise, Rogue constantly have the early move. And you see Malrang come over, drop the Rift Herald in mid just to finish that up. You take away those defenses.
Now Tahm Kench on the run has already used the Devour Style, forced to back away. Odoamne, though, wants to keep the fight going. He knows he can tank this tower forever. Here comes Malrang as well. They're looking to get everything that they possibly can. Style getting cut down. Tower next in the sights of Rogue.
Kiaya looking for the cross map on the bot tier 1, but Rogue just took mid tower, ran towards top. Trymbi and Malrang on the way to help out Comp. Didn't even have to use a Soraka ult there in a 1v2. Comp felt really confident to take that fight. Style saves his flash. He knew he was going to die regardless. There was a Jarvan over the wall, and that's all 3 outers down. Rogue off to a big early game lead. 30 seconds on the Dragon spawn. I think they're going to base and run out towards the bot side.
It's Malrang's Rift. He's actually just controlling this entire game so effortlessly. 16.5 minutes here. Rogue constantly taking away every last little bit of defense that GAM can even try and hide behind to collect CS. Now that all the outer towers are down, you'll see Rogue move in, get the deeper vision, try and pick people off between those rotations. Here's another look at it. Comp himself just so far ahead, forcing out the Tahm Kench ultimate early, and you've already got the rest of the members of Rogue moving over.
Yeah, it doesn't really stand a chance. There's no point for Kati to TP in here because Levi's on the opposite side of the map, but we're back into the on-screen live action. Levi fighting Malrang.
Going in. Lethal Tempo looking to get sacked, but Malrang overstaying his welcome just a little bit there. There's the stopwatch. Not sure how many ways he's going to be able to get to this. Still going in, flashing out to safety. Absolute madman gets out.
Great use of the ult there. He actually ulted to become unstoppable to avoid the Tahm Kench knock-up and then decided to flash out. So they have to use the Soraka ult as well. We'll see if GAM want to fight this with 2 Rogue ultimates being down. Odo's isn't up yet either, but Levi being low is going to go towards his red buff. I think they're just going to have to call this one and give it as well.
Well played. Ultimately, Malrang making the best out of a bad situation, getting a lot of resources from the opposition. Now 2 Drakes to the side of Rogue on top of that almost 4K gold lead that they have built for themselves. And gentlemen, I think that this is such a hard game to play out now when Comp is this far ahead, when he's got Cleanse for the Varus ult, and it feels like the later we go, we know the Camille will eventually be a threat, but it feels like GAM need that threat now. They need something that they can play around because they're just slowly losing across the map.
And that's why I think you cannot match at all Rogue, so you have to overload one side. Pick one side, send multiple people, Camille ultimate somebody, try and hunt down maybe a bounty or something somewhere. If you go after Comp, there's a bigger bounty on his head, maybe Camille ulti with a couple extra carries there, try and get a burst.
This side has not been overloaded by GAM. Instead, Rogue committing multiple members here. Camille, though, very strong still. Odo's still stepping forward, looking to get that empowered auto.
Camille building towards a frozen hot second. We'll have to check what he does with that item there. But what I will say for Rogue is a lot of pressure on the carries. Malrang has done his job. He's passed the baton over. He's gotten you through the early game. He is not going to be any much stronger. He's just going to build more health on this tank Jarvan, and that's about it. He can't really impact the lanes. It's on Larssen and Comp now to take the game home. Larssen down in CS a little bit. Look at Levi's almost 50 CS up in the jungle right now, and they have some pressure on this top side because Malrang showed bot. Comp's on his way. I wonder if they can get this tower. Larssen has enough threat to push them off.
Zoning them away as Comp comes up at the top lane as well. They can see the Sentinel coming. What the next play is going to be. All the outers are down. It's a little bit hard right now for Rogue to push their advantage any further.
They're doing a good job, though, in getting the early push on one wave. You see this down. Camille gets shoved under tower. Then they rotate everybody else up to the other 2 lanes. So they don't allow any sort of recourse here for GAM in trying to push out on any side, even try and look at these objectives. But those towers, those side towers are so low. Maybe as we move forward and the objective bounties pop up, they'll be able to overextend and grab something to get back into it.
I think that's going to be a rinse and repeat. Kiaya no flash from the earlier gank. Odo hiding the bush.
Away. Hookshot is going to be everything here. If he can get the buffer, maybe he can make his way out. Malrang waiting patiently, though. Looking to lock him down, taking his time, just walking up, fishing for the autos. Levi in the area, though, could be big. Nice dodge comes through here. They can try to turn this into 2v2. Levi, so much money in his back pocket. No flash left for Malrang. The ulti will not be enough. Beautiful turn from GAM.
Second time where Kiaya could probably even win that in a 1v2. This armor's helping out against this lethality / tank Jarvan. And in this 2v1, Rogue looked for the second time and it backfires. Kiaya now can look for the spot tier 1.
Yeah, GAM got one of the picks that they are looking for here. Let's see if they can actually make more of it. Kiaya, great timing there on his ultimate, dodging the EQ there from Malrang, keeping him around long enough for Levi to get there. Rogue's still very happy with the lead that they have, very secure, but those are the types of plays here, the outplays for GAM.
And I feel like you hit the nail on the head there, Kobe, where you're saying moving from bot to mid and mid to top and just controlling the map, stacking Drakes, playing for Baron, but feels a bit unnecessary from Rogue. They don't really have the damage to kill this Camille. Even despite this knock-up landing, uses the ult to dodge it. He could E away here, worst case, and there goes all of your ultimates from your top jungle and your forms of engage, but Levi shows up, shut down over to Kiaya, and he's only going to get stronger as he looks for this bot power.
Graves now with the Gore Drinker as well. Kiaya, such a difficult player to threaten, really, at this stage of the game. The Camille's so individually strong. Ultimate already almost up and available again. Still hasn't even completed a second item and seems so confident even in the 1v2.
And I like that little play right there because it doesn't look like much, but that is some restraint, you know? Rogue are like, maybe he will get baited in by this tower. One more Q from Camille would take it down. But yeah, it doesn't overextend, doesn't give them the opportunity to pick him off. He backs off, shows some restraint. They're not getting too greedy.
So he has gone for that frozen hard second. Does give a lot of ability haste next to the lucidity boots as well. Doesn't have things like the Hydra to push out sides fast, but it will help him in terms of staying alive when he does deal with that 1v2 and getting on top of Comp, it could help out a little bit. But for now, it looks like Rogue have decided to stop going towards bot, stack these Drakes, 50 seconds on the spawn, and look for 5v5 team fights, because look at how ahead Comp is, but he's not really been able to impact the map.
Levi moving up to the top side. Crucial to note that Larssen does not have teleport, so if Rogue do want to contest this, there is a TP advantage for the side of GAM at this moment. 3 members looking to collapse. Tower should just be dead as soon as the next wave comes in, but it's a bit of a ways off.
Yeah, with the 30 seconds left towards this dragon, looks like the commitment from GAM is like, once again, okay, we don't want to fight a full fight. Let's go get something on the other side of the map. We'll get the last remnants of this tower. Rogue, especially with those Hex Gates, gonna make the transition over. They're actually clearing out all the vision around Baron during this little window too.
And just look at the levels. Kati, despite going 0-3-0, has a shutdown, and he's up a level on Larssen right now, so he's definitely recovered. Kiaya's up a level on Odoamne. This game is slowed down.
And speaking of Kati, they're going to keep him split pushing on the top side. So they're going to try and push another wave in on the top side of the map while forfeiting this dragon. Get that Viktor as much juice as they possibly can.
Yeah, they're going to go for 2 items on the Viktor and maybe look for a 3rd on this Varus before they contest this dragon. It will be soul point for Rogue though, so even in a 5v5, a Miracle Steal over for Malrang could just, you know, you're going to have the buff for the rest of the game. There's no real Baron threat from GAM either. I think we have enough vision here, shallow vision on Rogue's side to spot out what they're up to.
And once we do transition to the actual team fight, because now it's Dragon Soul point here for Rogue, so they're just waiting for the clock to tick down. They've got Ornn ultimate to set up the Jarvan EQ Shockwave combination. Definitely looks very scary for GAM to deal with when they actually have to fight the team fight.
Certainly does, especially when Graves is so short range. Of course, Tahm Kench, the luxury of saving one of the 2 carries at this point between Sty1e and Kati. Have to see who he wants to take out, who he can protect in the fights to come, as Odoamne does what he can to keep this tower alive, stepping forward to clear the wave before it can even get close.
Yeah, the point of power for GAM has been Kiaya. This Camille split push, he's done it quite well. Shown restraint when necessary, dodged out on the gank.
What I will say is a little bit of shallow vision wouldn't hurt too much for Kiaya. Having like a ward or 2 in the enemy jungle so he knows where Malrang is, so he can actually step up and hit these towers. The only reason he can do it now is because Levi's there. Don't really want a human ward as your jungler, a pink or anything like that would help a lot, so he can keep pressuring Odoamne, and it gets to the point where Camille can't dive the Ornn, but what she can do is she can ignore the Ornn and then just hit the tower and focus it down. If Odoamne steps past the wave, of course he'll try to dash on him, but when the wave crashes, the ideal situation is just to ignore him. If he knows the rest of Rogue or top side, he can look to chunk towers.
Rogue now collapsing on the top side, trying to cement as much control as they can over this area. Baron, the only really big objective on the map. You have the Kalista plus the Jarvan, so relatively easy control when it comes to smiting or 50-50ing, but Rogue's clear on this objective would be pretty slow at this stage of the game.
They also, have Soraka sustained too. So it feels like Rogue could look for some baits here. You have really good turn from Rogue. If you start up on Baron, you control all that vision. And then whenever GAM come over, you look with the Ornn ultimate, you look with all this engage that you have to try and turn off, see if you can get a pick. If you can't, it's okay because Soraka sustained should keep your tank healthy as well.
Game has slowed down a little bit. We saw Rogue look for those pick towards bot. GAM turned the play around, but now it could speed up a bit. 3 minutes on the next soul point. Larssen actually looking for Bia here. He's gonna have to flash over the wall.
Rogue bullying their way into the GAM jungle. Bit of poke coming in from the Varus, not bad to have, certainly as we get closer to the fight. It's important to note that Kiaya has picked up the Tiamat, so pushing on the side wave, gonna be much faster, not as easy for Rogue to take this objective uncontested.
And look at this controlled destruction here. GAM, after getting behind so much early on versus Rogue, trying to stabilize the game a bit. Here's the bait we're talking about. Here's the start from Rogue. They have very good turn.
There's a TP. Kiaya's on the way.
In. Rogue disciplined as they back off. Baron now resetting. So far, purely positive play for them. They're going to look to pull the trigger. They're going to look to start the fight. If they can burn down the Tahm Kench, you won't be able to save anybody. But it's a slow fight. It's controlled from the side of GAM. Odoamne taking a decent chunk of damage, but Trymbi keeping him topped up.
Yeah, I think Odo was just calling for BA there because he has no flash. Maybe he thought he could pick up the first kill of the fight, but the positioning of GAM was threatening the carries of Rogue too much to the point where they could not step up. But I think Rogue got what they came for, and it's the Camille TP.
Exactly. That cooldown so big. The split push Camille was the main thing GAM were leveraging in this game to stabilize it, taking out that ability to join with the rest of them. Rogue can now rinse and repeat.
Get a bit awkward for GAM. So what they're doing actually is they're going to put Kati towards the bot side and Kiaya up top. Now, can look for kill pressure onto Larssen, but with the stopwatch and with so much vision focus on this top side from the bot lane of Rogue, he'll never really be able to look for those all-ins. The benefit, of course, is that Viktor has TP. So Odo will be under a little bit less pressure. Doesn't have that much magic resist, but he's building towards it now.
Yeah, the benefit is Viktor has TP. The downside is that, as you mentioned, they don't have any vision, and Viktor has a lot more difficult time getting away from 2v1s on bottom side than the Camille does. So Kati playing very safe there. Yeah, just try and laser the wave, back right off.
It's sort of mirrored, ultimately, because Larssen has to give Camille that same respect. Both mid laners backing away from the respective opposing top laners, as for now, just a bit of vision control, traded back and forth. We'll see when the next attempt is on the Baron. Of course, it is a minute till Hextech Drake. It will be Soul for Rogue if they are able to take it. This is going to be the arena that GAM are forced to fight in.
And GAM actually hitting some of their power spikes here with Viktor getting to level 16. Another rank in the ultimate here. Kati can definitely add a huge chunk of damage.
So just taking stock of the game, Rogue got a really big early game lead, all 3 outer towers. The game slowed down to the point around 15 minutes later where the gold doesn't matter that much. I think the carries are strong and GAM are going to fight back.
Now going in, backing away. Comp already using the ultimate, of course, to keep the Soraka safe. Trymbi going right back up, and here comes Malrang off to the side, fishing, looking for an opportunity, hitting one with the shockwave. Now the Varus taking so much damage, but here comes Bay trying to maybe look for the Devour. He isn't forced to do it yet. Big healing coming in from the Soraka, but Malrang in the midst of everyone, and a beautiful Hextech ultimatum to say, not today, buddy.
And the timing that GAM go for this play right before the dragon is going to spawn. They pick off the enemy jungler. GAM have been so good with their decision making here, not giving over anything while they're so far behind, choosing their timing to finally go for the fight, and after that evade, they put a stop to the first attempt at Dragon's Soul for Rogue before it even starts. Wow.
They've bought themselves so much time here, and Kiaya so much confidence, just dashes over, looks for Trymbi. Kalista ult has to be used so early on. Odo gets the knockup, but he's already back over the wall. This is where it looks good for Rogue, because both the carries are in the Cataclysm. The silence comes down after the shockwave pull, but they can't actually get the kill onto Style. He stays alive, and Comp can't fight Kati either. He's down 2 levels, and when he dashes forwards, he just gets outranged, and this is where Malrang gets caught off.
And I gotta call it the Viktor gravity field there. The zone control to that ability, stopping everyone from following up on the initial combo. Style even whiffing the flash in the context of the fight, it does not matter. Even without the Tahm Kench Devour, they could not finish off the Varus.
And they had the little breakpoint. At that replay, Larssen was level 15. Kati has the rank 3 Viktor ultimate. He's doing so much damage to the front line there, pushing him out, but Rogue's gonna reset, push out on top.
So Soraka got the red buff, and a lot of people will be wondering why is that. Now the red buff gives a lot of base health regeneration, so I wonder if it's because she's gonna sacrifice her health to heal, so this kill keeps the Soraka healthier for when they force this Baron in the next minute. Does hurt Comp's damage a little bit, but he's sitting on 3 items, and I suppose he's the one that made the call to allow that to happen. No flashes on the carries of GAM, so that's why Rogue want to force. This is why the red buff's on the Soraka, to keep her healthy.
Yeah, I like it. They turn the health battery of Soraka into a rechargeable battery. Here come GAM, though.
Yeah. How much time do they have? Observers teasing us, 4K getting lower. Levi over the wall, maybe 3K getting lower. The spear, they're gonna get GAM, they find it! Odoamne now looking to turn the fight, but here comes the Viktor, and they're all trapped! They're all caught in the mix of an absolute slaughter! This Viktor is killing everybody!
Huge steal from Levi, saves the game there. It's a 2 for 2. It was such a bloody fight in that pit. Viktor, Chaos Storm, the Varus, and the Kalista were free hitting. The shockwave hit multiple members, but it's Levi that steals the Baron. Incredible smoke screen over the wall as he dashes over to make sure Malrang couldn't actually see the health bar.
Wow, GAM get over. The controller's in the pit. Levi jumps in. You see the smite, he lands. Then the big counter. Ornn ultimate comes through. They do get the knockup, but it's only on to Tahm Kench, and once Kati gets there.
Stopwatchers really saving Rogue there. Larssen and Comp popping them inside of Varus ult, and this is where Odoamne tries his best to fight back. Comp flashes over, Malrang flashes over, Rogue escape. 3 members alive on both sides, but GAM have the Baron buff.
Yeah, both of GAM carries there untouched as they move in and try and push them out of the back of this Baron pit. Wow, GAM actually putting on a clinic here of how to come back in a game where you are so far behind early.
And this is the power of the, I'll say, quadrant threat comp. You know, 4 of the damage dealers of GAM, the top jungle mid AD, will dish out so much if they have uptime, whereas on Rogue, it's just on Larssen and Comp. They're the only people who can get these health bars down. Rogue have a top jungle support for setup and sustain.
And this is so big because across this group stage thus far, we've seen so many teams who just have better tools when it comes to late game fighting, and it just makes so much of the execution irrelevant as we get later and later. But GAM have the tools to fight back, to respond to what Rogue want to do. Rogue, yeah, some of the execution is easier with the Ornn, but we've seen how incredibly powerful the Viktor can be if Rogue ever misstep.
So much credit to Kiaya for bridging the mid-game gap here for GAM to get them into this position. And especially in that last play, though, Levi nailing the smite, getting the steal for them. Here we go with Baron buff, though.
Trying to push for maybe a little bit more. Important to note, so many stopwatches now coming in from the side of GAM. Rogue have spent most of theirs. A GA to help keep Comp healthy in the fight to come.
I wonder if this is a situation where Rogue say, you know what, we're not going to fight this dragon. We fought you the first time around, you had no flashes. That's why we forced Baron. But then we lost our summoners, and Larssen, Comp, no flashes against this threat of the Camille. Just deciding maybe, let's just give this, wait for our summoners to come back up and buy some more time for Ornn items. Maybe things like the Rabadons or the Zhonya's could come through for more defensive items for Rogue.
Yep, definitely agree. As Odoamne upgrades the Orianna as well, the carries here for Rogue. Getting their upgrades, scaling. They do have the GA as well on Comp. Looking for his last item now, trying to fill out.
But just such a difficult situation as we get later and later, too. Especially with the Baron currently empowered inside of GAM. The Camille on the side lane, gonna two-shot these towers if Rogue ever misstep.
Yeah, I think Cajal is right with his focus on summoner spells, because Varus and Viktor, as we said in Champ Select, these are two low mobility carries. So goal number one for Rogue, burn those flashes. They can burn those flashes before the big fight.
Oh. They're looking for Kati. Rogue have snuck their way in here. TP coming in, will chase him down. No tower either. If they can get this pick, Dragons
There's
20.
no way they can get away from the north. There's just too much CZ. A clean flash, trying to turn, trying to get at least one back in response. Rogue pulling everything out to take the Viktor out of the equation.
They kill the Viktor, they get the flash off the Viktor, and they get the big bounty off him as well. Decisive maneuver from Rogue. Now GAM are actually pushing up mid lane to try and get a trade here and bully down the tower.
That's going to be soul for Rogue. How the hell did they get 4 members all the way down into this bot side without being spotted? Really good heads-up play before the Dragon spawn. We thought they would give it up and just buy more time for themselves, but now they have the soul and they traded it for the tier 2.
So well done there, Rogue. They surgically remove the split push Viktor, earn themselves the soul. They're right back on top.
They are. GAM, of course, getting a tower in the mid lane. Looks to get the tower on the top side, so the gold still going to feel a little bit GAM favored, but that soul is going to be massive in the fights to come. Odoamne moving up just to make sure that GAM can't get anything else. 2 minutes away from the Baron, the next big arena for these teams to fight, but now Rogue have that permanent buff. It's going to make things so much easier.
Yeah, I think that's just going to be the quiet before the storm, really, when that Baron spawns in 1 minute 45 seconds. Neither of these teams want to overstep or face check into each other's comps. It's really on Kiaya. You talked about him bridging them mid to late game, but he's also such a powerhouse of a late game champ on the Camille. He's got a little bit of MR, a little bit of armor too. We'll see what he can get done. Maybe he can look for picks of his own onto Larssen.
Yeah, your job's not done yet. Your watch is still going here. A lot of work to be done.
Certainly the case. And the biggest thing, too, is that Rogue got that play in the window that you talked about, the window where their summoner spells weren't available. Now, there's an hourglass as well on the side of Larssen. Had to wait for that one. Stopwatch consumed in the last fight. We'll have another stasis in the fight to come. This is big. Level 18 as well, just ticking over for the Orianna. Rogue getting so much at what could have been a difficult time.
And they're all blinged out on Ornn items now as well. Moonstone for Trymbi's upgraded and everything. They're looking fresh, ready to go.
Blinked out, yeah. Comp's going towards some magic resist. I think the problem that Comp is having in these fights is the Chaos Storm is just on top of him as he's trying to dash forward, so he's just taking so much damage from the Viktor before he can arrive. Witsend or something along those lines will help him out with the Rage Blade. And now Rogue posturing towards mid. Odo has the TP. Kati doesn't have flash just yet. Malrang EQ's over. GAM don't pull the trigger just yet.
There are stopwatches on Kati as well as Style here. So even though there's no flash on the Viktor, it does have the stopwatch if he gets dove on.
Malrang on the side, looking to see if GAM walk into this bot side river. Odo still has that TP. It's probably better for Rogue if he's around before the fight starts because he can then peel, but looks like Rogue aren't going to take the engage, but with 20 seconds on his Baron spawn, he's going to join his team. How does GAM retake vision? They have 1, 2 blue orbs.
Yeah, good job pushing. 2 lanes here for Rogue. They get the push on bottom. They push out mid lane as well. Rotation over again into the Fog of War will be big. They have easy turn off of this Baron as soon as GAM poke their heads out.
But the last Baron has to be fresh in their mind. They had total control of the pit. It did not stop Levi from getting in there. It's Hextech ripped as well. So easy for him to find an angle, to find a way back into this pit for now. Rogue keeping their eye focused on the engage. Odoamne hovering around, playing with the vision. Rogue spotted out.
Yeah, Rogue just going step by step, walk into the river, clear out the vision, back to mid wave, push into mid wave, back to Baron, threaten it. It's just a seesaw effect, and Rogue stepping up now. Levi's trying to get the wave, a little bit of poke coming out of Style. Comp stashing forwards here, seeing if anyone oversteps from GAM, but I think Rogue gonna push in this wave and then look to start forcing this, make GAM come into them.
And look at Malrang. He was looking for possible flank angles. He's running around with this Umbral Glaive, trying to sweep out any of the vision here, see if they can have any access to the back line.
It is so important that Rogue's cooldowns take out at least one member of GAM before the fight breaks out.
Orb spots it out. They know they're on this. Levi's just getting midway. Kati's basing. Are they giving this? I don't think he's going to be in time to smite this.
Lower and lower. Rogue, are they going to burn or are they going to turn? What is the call going to be? It's a little bit split here at the moment. They do manage to grab it. Levi coming in over the wall. GAM, they know that they have to take this fight. Odoamne fishing for the angle. He's going to knock up two. Tahm gets locked down. Will devour the Varus, but off to the side, the Camille getting shredded. She goes gold, and Levi in the backside with the Orianna, but she's so damn strong. Camille trying to get out to safety.
Go.
Disaster for GAM. Sombrero on the shockwave. Does not matter. It's a double for Larssen. Rogue taking the fight, taking the ace.
It's a clean ace! They don't lose a single person on the side of Rogue, and with that Baron buff, they're gonna charge right through GAM's base.
Rogue found the window to start up the Baron. They got it before Levi could arrive. GAM were a little bit split up trying to dive. Malrang and Odo buying time, but it's the carries of Rogue that pull through. The double threat comp stands tall, and Rogue, it looks like they're gonna pick up this game.
At the end of the day, Rogue, GAM did so much work to hold them, to stop them from getting anything else in the match, but it was not enough. They stole one Baron. Rogue would not let it be two. Rogue moving up to 2-0 in the group. Eventually, as it looks like they're playing for a bit of fun, they're playing for a little bit of disrespect, and that's the 2-0 for Rogue.
I think the turning point for this game was that Hextech Soul, that pick onto Kati that actually just nailed the coffin really for GAM. It just became so hard to give a soul over so late into the game. They crawled their way back from that early deficit of losing all those outer towers and Larssen and Comp being so ahead. Kiaya was doing such a good job of just keeping Odoamne under wraps and looking for numbers advantage to pressure the map. You highlighted it so well, but Rogue still stand tall and they managed to find a way on top.
Yeah, up until that last point, GAM had made so many good calls around objectives. You know, not fighting the unnecessary ones, pushing out on side lane, being able to get the extra advantage there. But when it all comes down to it, Rogue make the pick, they take down that Viktor, and they take home the win.
The later and later we got into the game, the higher and higher the stakes became. One pick on the bot side, Levi being a little bit too long in the mid lane. That's all it took for Rogue to find the win. These little things add up to such big advantages. Heartbreaker for GAM. They fought back way better today than they did yesterday. It is progress. We saw more from them today, but still, to start 0-2, very difficult.